Welcome to the second episode of our special holiday season series, everyone. In today's episode, we are going to be creating our characters and the amazing scenario we've been teasing for weeks now. But before we get to all of that, this is what you can expect in our calls to action after the show.
It's December, things are pretty busy, and we really don't have any major announcements after the show, but we'll be covering normal podcast ending stuff, including thanking our patrons and asking for the gifts of ratings and reviews or even episode comments, which are apparently a thing on Spotify, so that's cool.
Yeah, there you go. Until then, enjoy the show, everybody. Last time on Character Creation Cast, we learned all about the different archetypes that we can play as in the Santa Corps, and we're just about to start making our selections. We're picking up right where we left off last time. Enjoy. All right. So what playbooks do we have our eyes on for our characters? I've got a few.
You want to be a critter.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
You usually go for small animals.
Yeah.
Well,
Ryan.
I mean, I'm the one that's like all nice and
Ryan is
and
the
adorable.
sweetheart, and I'm our sort of juxtaposition is magical girls and necromancers, and so Ryan is our magical girls, and I am our necromancers.
Yeah.
So
I would like to think that any given one of these, you could be either a magical girl or a necromancer or a magical girl with necromancy.
Right.
And I think that's part of the kind of vagueness, even though, I don't really touch on necromancy too much besides the ghosts.
Yeah.
But you can't specifically raise the dead.
You do have undead in here as well with the sweeties.
Right.
So like
yeah.
You got a couple post life or like reanimated
life adjacent type.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Post
life and life
really
adjacent.
My vibe is just life adjacent.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Are you thinking frost then?
I was thinking abominable.
Oh, interesting. All right.
Okay.
All right. I'm kind of torn between like frost or ghost. I kind of want to do
ghosts
frost.
Are super on brand
They
for
are,
you, but
which is why I'm kind of like, no.
Gotta challenge yourself a little bit.
I'm going to challenge myself to do something different. I think I'm going to go with frost. You're going to do abominables.
What do you want to do, Taylor?
Let's see. I like a little toy soldier. I think that's that juxtaposition of being like nice and beautifully painted and like
deadly.
Little nutcracker soldier and like that sort of thing. I think I'll go that direction. Also, I in terms of the silhouette of that group, I love a tiny little toy soldier like on the shoulder of a big old Bumble.
Mm-hmm. How fuzzy are you?
I'm fuzzy.
What flavor of abominable are you thinking of going?
I was thinking about being like not but a Grinch.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well,
okay.
You know what? And
are you green or are you like teal? I feel like a Ryan version of a Grinch would be teal.
Dark teal Grinch. Yeah. Let's throw that Grinch lore out there and I am a dark teal Grinch because as people may not be aware of, Grinches come in all sorts of colors.
Right. It's just the famous one is green.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, and that's something too that like I love the original animated Grinch, despite it's like, it's an interesting story. Is it? Does it make a ton of sense? Does it need to? No, it's fun. I love Boris Karloff. But that's something that's not super referenced by the Santa Corps. So I love that you're going that direction, and I love that you found a space for the Grinch.
That's really, that's not at all what I saw coming, but I'm so excited about that.
Yeah. Well, and he has the strength. He has the secret layer full of old random stuff. Yeah. So like it actually thematically fits pretty well. Let's pretend I did that on purpose.
I was racking my brain as you were going through stuff. I'm like, where does the Grinch fit in this? And it has to be the Abominables.
Yeah,
that's. Really
I think it works very well.
Mm-hmm.
I got to think of a good Grinch name though, because the Grinch's name is Grinch. But like that's also his species, I guess.
Well, yeah,
I don't know. Doctor Who's kind of weird.
Grinch.
He is the Grinch, right?
So are you like Grunch? Is that how this works? Is it like Grinch, Grunch, Granch?
Or is it like Steve the Grinch?
Yeah, I mean, it was his name actually. Like nobody bothered to ask his first name.
I like Granch.
Granch.
Grinch, Granch, Grunch.
Yeah.
Granch it's very Dr. Seussy, right?
Right. So there's actually a blue one, a green one, and then like kind of a teal one. It's Grinch, Granch, Grunch. Yeah.
Those are the three Grinch, Grant, Grunch brothers. Very unknown.
Have you seen the Halloween Grinch? Oh my God!
There's a Halloween Grinch.
There is another Grinch animated special, and I am suddenly remembering it now. It is a fever dream.
Halloween is Grinch Night, 1977.
Yes, it's wild. I think you can find it on YouTube. Of course, I would never condone anything that didn't respect the original copyrights owners. So, but I think you can find it on YouTube.
It's only 26 minutes.
Yeah. It's short and it's a trip. And I think he is very mean to Max in this one. And like Max goes off on his own. I don't think it acknowledges How the Grinch Stole Christmas, or maybe it's a prequel because Halloween happens before. I'm trying to remember if there are other Grinches in it, but if you're into Grinch lore, that's or you just want to see something weird on the internet.
And there's 9 songs in it.
Yes, they're not great, but they're there.
I wasn't asking for great.
It's called Halloween is Grinch Night. Is that
okay? So yeah, I'm one of the brothers Grinch, and I am Granch, the middle brother. Grunch is our older brother. Grinch is the youngest one. That's why he's so entitled. And then me, Granch, in the middle, with middle child syndrome, the dark teal Grinch style character.
Amelia, what flavor? You said you're going Frost?
I am. Trying to decide like what kind of like
there's a lot of
snow sort of,
there's like Winter Warlock Ice King vibes, or there's like Tumblr Heartthrob Jack Frost from Rise of the Guardians. There's like straight up Ice Elemental, Snowman, of course. We're Snow person.
Yeah, you could be
hear me out.
Yeah, go for it.
Chronicles of Narnia, Ice Witch Queen.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay.
That's very good. Yeah. I just had the thought too before you were saying that. Like, I guess Elsa would be in this.
Yes,
category.
I'm right. She totally would.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or that gigantic snowman.
Yeah, I mean, technically
that
Olaf.
Elsa made.
Olaf, yeah.
Olaf as well,
would also fall into this category. Yeah.
It was like almost all the characters in the movie Frozen.
Right.
Which I think if we were to speak to the variability that exists in any given archetype, if it includes both Elsa and Olaf, you know that there's range.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
It's true. So what's this character's name then, Amelia?
Well, Ryan, I don't know yet.
Okay.
I don't know yet.
I mean, you could just be the Ice Witch Queen.
Ice Witch Queen.
That's as opposed to the same.
I think it's all one word. Ice Witch Queen. It's all one word. Ice Witch Queen.
Ice Witch Queen. I like that. Well, like, and it also implies like, how did you?
It's IWQ for short.
Oh, sure, yeah,
because that's easier to say. IWQ.
Yeah, I love a W in an acronym because it almost always makes the acronym more syllables than what the original words are.
Exactly.
It's so much harder to say
IWQ?
IWQ
I know.
than Ice Witch Queen.
Ice Witch Queen. But yeah. But she's very insistent that it is in fact easier.
I like how she might be, if pressed, would point out it's easier to write. Fully acknowledging that nobody is writing it.
Right.
We are in conversation. I like that. Well, like, and it also implies for your backstory, how did like what were you the queen of? Are like, did you have a Narnia style realm that like you became disconnected? Like, how did you go from that to this Santa Core team supernatural entities trying to do their best to be altruistic in ways that sometimes involve reindeer goring people with antlers.
Yeah, well, I think it's actually like an inherited title, so that like my family is like, I'm not actually a queen of anything anymore, really, but like, you know, it's like, you know, like monarchies in Europe where like they're not really, but like they still have titles and things, and I'm like very insistent that this is my title as queen. But I'm not actually in charge of anything anymore, you know.
And at this point, it's almost more of a surname, than
Right, definitely.
Because otherwise, it would be Queen Ice Witch Queen.
Yes, it's Ice Witch Queen of the Latvian Ice Witch Queens.
Yep.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for
yours?
a Nutcracker, I am gonna borrow a little bit of that, like adjacent to the more popular one, and go with like not the Nutcracker of the Nutcracker fame, but like another Nutcracker, you know, like a different prince that like maybe wasn't a full prince, but like a duke or something that was cursed into.
Yeah, like of you like introducing yourself as like, I am the Nutcracker. No, not that one. It's just like
there's a little bit. It's like I had a name. It was like I lost it. It was part of the curse. I can't tell you what it is because I curse, right? You know, if you hold this nut in your hand and walk backwards 100 paces without opening your eyes, and do something with my uncle, I don't really remember, then you can break the curse and I'll tell you all about me. It's pretty exciting. I've got a dukedom. I know it's not like you marry me and be a duke or a duchess, you know. It's like being a prince or princess, but
it's close.
Less responsibility, honestly.
We've been like set up by our parents that are like, well, he's technically minor nobility, so you know he could. He doesn't even know his own name.
Yeah, he comes up to my shin.
The range. Granch is ginormous, by the way.
Okay, I love it.
Oh, yeah. I think that is something to kind of address to the translation, because like in the live action Grinch, we saw that the entire thing takes place on a snowflake, and talk about like the ephemeral nature of life and existence. Everything that they learned and that transpires on this world will just melt away, but so too will our earth. So who are we to judge, right? But I think that's really what the filmmakers were looking to convey in How the Grinch Stole Christmas starring Jim Carrey.
Right. Definitely.
But or as we see too in Horton Hears a Who, the Who's and that exist on the tuft of a dandelion, and they're in fact very, very small. But I think there can be translations. We're dealing with weird magical portals, so I love that the Grinch can actually be Grinch sized in this context.
No, see, my brother is really that small.
Yeah, that's the Grinch. This is Grunch. Grunch?
This is Grinch.
Granch.
Granch is like, ginormous. Yeah. Grunch is just normal person sized.
Yeah, he's an attorney, actually.
He is. He is.
Practiced law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really put his life together.
Yeah, William Grunch and
he had a
Associates.
stint on Sesame Street for a bit, eating cookies a bunch, but, now...
Oh, that's right, because he's blue. Oh, my gosh.
He is blue. Yeah.
Grunch's Cookie Monster?
He might be.
But now he is head of a law firm.
Well, he's the head of a law firm, but also he's also part of the Santa Corps in an auxiliary position.
Oh, okay.
Once Sesame Street kind of got kicked to the wayside because of the war on Christmas.
Mm-hmm. Well, once it got bought out by HBO, really.
Exactly.
This is where it went downhill.
Cookie Monster needed a new gig, so he became a lawyer, and everything stands up in court when.
See what I mean when I said we can drag this out?
The Santa Corps needs people in desks. Look, it's not all just the excitement of field agents.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you need your money penny, you need your Q, you need your M.
Yeah, well, somebody's got to make sure, that we're not getting sued for every little thing and, keeping our guys out of jail.
I'm 20 feet tall.
Okay.
20 feet tall. Okay. I'm picturing myself as tall for a human, but not tall.
Yeah. I'm picturing the abominable snowman.
5'10", 5'11", kind of.
Not quite the level in Hotel Transylvania where you just see his leg because he's so big. Mm-hmm. Kind of like that, only smaller.
Okay.
Every now and then, he puts his face in a door. Yeah. Do you have a how do you navigate the human world?
We're very fluffy.
Sure. So it's mostly fur.
So it's mostly fluff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
it's like how ferrets can squeeze themselves under doors and stuff. It just compresses. And you have bones, but also do you?
They move around a bit. Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grinch is actually extremely flexible.
They are. That's why they can take so much punishment. Okay.
Totally normal. Got it. Great. I'm sure.
I love this group.
Yeah, I'm sure Taylor's that's exactly what I meant for my game.
Honestly, though, but yes. Yeah. I think that it invites you to look at the characters that exist in media and compare them and then distort them. And I think that's a lot of fun. Yeah, so taking those tropes and taking those sorts of things and just kind of spinning them around.
Yeah.
I like that this Nutcracker is probably aware of the other Nutcracker and talks about if I fought the war against the Rat King, I probably would have flanked him using these tactics. I've got a little bit of war experience myself. I had a run in with some dust bunnies, and let me tell you, cute name,
Deadly.
Also cute. Yeah. Deadly. Yeah. Very deadly.
Very deadly.
They were an absolute blight of them underneath the bed. I saved my kid by fighting off all the dust bunnies underneath the bed.
There you go. Yeah.
She didn't break my curse, though. She didn't care about Nutcrackers as much as the new PlayStation that came out that year. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's why we're fighting the good fight.
Yep. It's a little bit of sad Toy Story vibes.
Amazing. So we've got our people.
Oh boy,
I'm very curious what sort of scenario these people could go on. Can we just construct a scenario together and some obstacles?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have that chart in the book. That's page 14, I believe. And that's planning the mission. It's you draw 3 cards and you can kind of line them up. You said you had a deck of cards. Do you want to do the honors in drawing?
I'll draw a card here. All right. So we have a 4, stressed parent, in need of another 4, a small town baker or carpenter, and a 3, but they only have 1 night left.
All right. So the scale of this is much more personal. And I like how these lined up in like a pretty neat kind of Hallmark movie type of way.
Yeah.
So we got a stressed parent, needs a small town baker / carpenter, that is impeccably dressed. But they only have one night left. So a lot of those buts has a certain variability to it, has a certain like vagueness to it. Like they only have one night left. Do we want this to be a like standard Hallmark movie where like stressed parent has to move back? It was like it's only going to be in town for one more night and then like has to move across the country. And this is like, or is this Nicholas Sparks style where one of them has a terminal illness?
I want like the cheesiest, most like standard Hallmark movie.
I was going to ask, do you want to play this then in Lake Goldpond?
For
For the sake of continuity, should we just Lake Goldpond? Sure. It's spelled Gold Pond, but it's pronounced Goldpond. Is the town that we created for our Hallmark themed game. And the end of at Christmas, nice. Okay. They have this big honey festival, and then you have to like get the honey kiss or something like that. It was very, very cheesy.
It was very cheesy.
So it was all honey themed. Like,
but there was also a time traveler in it trying to save their parents or something like that.
Yeah, by trying to make them be the ones that had the honey kiss at the Lake Goldpond Honey Festival.
Netflix has given us a lot of gifts in that in the world of that type of movie. So it's like if Hallmark, sure, it's specific, but if you like zoom out enough to include the Netflix versions, like A Christmas Night or The Christmas Prince and stuff like that, you should get that time travel in there. You get that like weird otherworldly type of stuff in there. You put a little magic in there. You can get weird with it. I love that.
I love the thought of this being a single parent who is at odds with the baker carpenter of the town. They're both the same person. And we need them to fall in love before Christmas, the honey festival, so they can have the honey kiss, because that will help save the spirit of Christmas.
Right. Because so and now that the setting is, so if we were to look at Goldpond as once upon a time, it was this cute, quaint little Christmas festival sort of thing, where on Christmas happened, probably became a little bit one of those Christmas towns, just like Christmas themed. It really leaned heavily into that. But when the war on Christmas came to a head and Christmas is all banned, you can't sing Christmas carols anymore, that probably was really hard for Goldpond and really like knocked it down economically. They still had the honey festival, but they really had to strip it from any sort of
rebrand.
They really had to rebrand, and it's hard getting it back on. So like a struggling small town like that, they need all the help they can get.
Well, at the very least, honey is a year-round like
everybody
delicacy.
knows that honey is definitely.
So it felt like it wasn't too big of a struggle, but like, you know, if we can get this single parent and this baker carpenter together, then
I want to be clear that it is a baker / carpenter. It's not a baker or a carpenter. This person is a baker and a carpenter. Exactly. And they are the only one in the town. There's no other baker and no other carpenter.
There's probably other bakers. This is the only one that's available.
Okay.
Because I mean, unless a lot of the bakers went out of business at this point, because I'm pretty sure Goldpond had it.
Doing a lot of Christmas, stuff.
That's
anymore.
true. We have to get them to reignite the love for Christmas so that the honey festival can have meaning again, so the magic of the honey kiss can be restored.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, so it's not just about selling honey anymore. Like you got to know, like, why do we have honey? Why do we celebrate honey? Yeah.
Gotta bring the magic
there
back.
You go.
Yeah.
I love this. Okay.
So the single parent has to fall in love with the baker carpenter.
Yeah.
Okay.
We only have one night left.
We only have one night left.
Yeah, what happened is the honey festival, like the night of the honey kiss has to happen the next day. And so that's okay. Why are they at odds?
Well, because I think Baker Carpenter was actually supposed to build the like honey stall thing for the single parent to sell their honey, and hasn't done it yet. Or did a bad job. Okay. Maybe they didn't like it.
Yeah. It wasn't up to code. the new capitalist code that required a certain number of advertisement spaces on the thing itself. So like they have to go back to the drawing board, and there's just a lot of
and there's no
around.
way this stall is going to be built in time for
exactly
the festival, which means this single parent. I mean, this is an opportunity.
This is like her big sales time of the year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This will make up for, months of income for the single parent,
Yeah.
This is
because the baker / carpenter had these terrible old-fashioned ideals about not including sufficient advertising space and not having the always-on video ads built into the stall.
Right. Right. It has no spot to put any of the USB cables or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if this carpenter had some help, maybe we could expedite the process and save this stressed parent.
Or do we need to make the town realize that not having as many advertisements is actually best for everyone?
Yeah. So it sounds like making sure the parent is provided for, and probably also making sure the kid is looked, however many children that the parent has, maybe like a little bit of like snowman babysitting.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
And we need to kind of make sure that even if we do this one fix, we could help the town. These people represent the town. Their honey kiss is going to be important. But like, there's some rampant capitalism.
We need to remember the true meaning of the honey kiss.
Yeah. Well, because all the honey kisses that have happened since the war on Christmas took over have ended up with people breaking up or divorced or whatever.
Yeah, it's like everything that happens after The Bachelor. They never.
Yeah.
They turned it into a reality show, like Honey Kiss.
Oh
Thursday
no,
nights
it
on
did.
ABC.
They did.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, the Honey Kiss is like the big reality show right now.
We need to ruin the production of the Honey Kiss season 15 reality show, because if it goes through again, it's just going to be another soulless
some random good-looking person, some other good-looking person, and we're like this single mom and carpenter / baker, whose name is Carpenter Baker, need to kiss.
So does that mean that there are currently, so if we're darn close to the finale of season 15 of the Honey Kiss, maybe it's not airing live. So does that mean that there are two individuals who are kind of like part of the show, like our Bachelor, Bachelorette equivalent of like who are supposed to be, who are essentially scheduled to have the honey kiss, and we need to stop them from having it, because if they do it first, then we ruin our parent and baker / carpenter from their chances.
Yes. Well, yes, I think that it's like, so here's the question. It's like, have we completely sold out and it's like scheduled to be them? Or is like the contest been rigged so that it is them and we need to like unrig it? Or like...
Well, I'm thinking that there's probably candidate. We're probably in like a semifinals or like a final. So it's like there's enough spirit of competition that we don't know 100% who's going to win or something. But like at the very least, our stressed parent is not involved. Is the baker / carpenter involved in?
No, because he's the one that wouldn't even put enough advertising on the stand. So he's like, so I don't want these people here at all. Right.
So we have to ruin the production and get the baker, carpenter, and the stressed parent.
His name is Carpenter Baker. Yeah.
Carpenter Baker.
Or her name, their name.
With the stressed parent into the honey kiss position at the honey kiss time, because it happens at a specific time. You can't get it before or after. It has to be that time.
Right.
And I like the idea that unlike Bachelor or those type of shows where it's like one partner on this end determining from the whole group of partners, I like the idea that it starts with like a dozen people and the final pair will be two of that group, but it's not like one half is already decided. So like in the finals, maybe there's 4 people left and 2 of those people
will end up together.
As part of the production, we'll share the honey kiss. We don't know specifically which 2.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's person like A, B, C, and D. It could be A and B, could be C and D, could be B and C, and we don't know.
Right.
We don't know.
But,
we just
but
don't.
our single parent and carpenter baker are not even part of that group.
No.
Right. Okay.
They were never even 11
like,
and 12.
Like single parent doesn't have time. Carpenter baker does not believe in this. Like,
yeah.
I mean, does carpenter baker even believe in love? I don't know.
At this point, who knows?
I don't know.
And I like the thought of them getting put into this. Well, okay, we're ahead of ourselves into the fanfic portion.
Yeah. So this is our planning stage.
Our mission. And what is our goal here ultimately?
So our goal is to make sure that the parent and the baker/carpenter share the honey kiss tonight. Or tomorrow. We only have one night to get this done, and use that as a symbol of dismantling how this town has strayed so far away from the meaning of the Honey Festival,
right?
And by extension, Christmas spirit, because we don't necessarily need Christmas branding.
Right.
We want the spirit. We want what it represents. And just like how Christmas went astray, the Honey Festival has gone astray.
Well, yeah, they've completely sold out, and now all it's for is for this show. It's,
Yeah. So we need to essentially have that happen. We're setting our 10 milestones. This is one of those, what jargon do you pick for any given things? They're probably checkpoints. They're probably not milestones. They're probably checkpoints.
I'm probably going to change obstacles as well, like obstacles to overcome in order to.
I kind of think of them as like tasks.
Yeah, I feel like checklist.
Checklist.
Yeah,
they're kind of like the things that you need to do.
It's almost like you're making a list and checking it twice.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to write that down. I like that. I'm a little embarrassed. I didn't think about that.
So this is the part where you make your list, and then at the end it'll say, check it twice.
That's brilliant. I'll credit you. So the way that I've done it is, there's kind of two approaches, and the rules aren't specific. And I think if the rules are not going to be specific, I might at least I'll try not to rewrite the game as we get into this. I am notorious for doing this when interacting with any of my games. I immediately start rewriting and tinkering with it, and people are like, let's just play it. I'm like, well, I make games. I don't play them. I tinker.
Those are two very different things.
So I'll try not to go overboard, but thinking about that, and how I might want to clarify this in the rules is, we can either make a list 1 through 10, roll our 2d10s, come up with the difficulties of that, and use that to kind of inform what step that is going to be, or we can make our list of things that we want to do in a roughly chronological order and then roll to see how hard it's going to be. And the kind of two approaches are, do we think it's funny if one of the things is get to the town and we rolled 18. Why is it so difficult to even get to this town? Yeah. Or do we want to do something where we started with an 18. Maybe it's actually really difficult to identify somebody or those sorts of things. Do we want to find out how hard it's going to be and define it, or do we want to define it and then figure out how hard it's going to be?
I like defining it and then it turning out to be really hard potentially.
Babysitting 20. What?
Yeah.
This was supposed to be the easy step. Yeah.
I love it.
Amazing. Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
Yes, I like it.
Let's define some milestones.
Potentially, when you do something and it's potentially doesn't make sense, so you are forced to make it make sense. I like doing that.
Yeah, I really like that too. I tend to bring in a design philosophy of if it hasn't happened yet, it's not technically canon yet. So I like having moves that are narratively restructuring. So there's something like you call this person and they arrive and well, we said that they were out of town. We said that, but was that canonical? Do we know that they were out of town? Why was their flight canceled? Why are they here now? They are here now because that's what the move does.
Right.
They weren't supposed to be. So let's explore that space.
Yeah. Did they never leave? Were they lying the whole time?
Yeah. Did they have twins? Yeah.
Secret twin is a great one.
Okay. Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Love a good secret twin.
So this would be another space too where I think I would want to clarify the rules. Rules as written is currently like 10 checkpoints. Go at it. Where I might recommend like, hey, maybe start with your first checkpoint, the 5th checkpoint, and the 10th checkpoint, kind of fill in between. The sort of advice section, which I don't always think through when I'm just writing the rules. Like, yeah, of course, you just do it. And it's like, oh, wait. Yeah. People aren't in my head.
Right. Yeah, that's one of those, if you would find it more helpful to structure it this way. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I think. So, I mean, we could even start with step 10 I feel like step 9 is stressed parent and baker/carpenter share the honey kiss. Step 10 is uproot the systems of capitalism that have infested this town. Yeah. Right. Because that's kind of the fallout of what the kiss. But along the way, we're interrupting the production. We are identifying the current contestants and essentially preventing them from accidentally or purposefully doing a Christmas kiss or a honey kiss. Yeah. We need to get our parent. We probably need to look after the parents' kids.
Yeah. I think so. Like step 1, I feel like would be just like enter the town, because if there's a production going on, that potentially could be like, are they going to let us in? Are they going to, are they going to let this 20-foot tall Granch in? Like,
yeah, and honestly, logistically speaking, how do we physically get you there? That can be a factor.
Yeah,
absolutely. So yeah, step 1, enter the town.
Yeah,
right. That makes sense.
Well, and then step 10, we said, is dismantle capitalism. So I think we can fill that one in.
Sure. Maybe that should just always be step 11. It's like, don't worry about step 11. Step 11 is always dismantle capitalism. Okay. Your steps are 1 through 10.
So step 10 is honey kiss, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Step 10 can be honey kiss.
That makes sense.
And then, so we want to find each of our people. So we want to identify and get to stressed parent. Okay. Yeah. And we want to identify and get to baker/carpenter.
I like. I don't know if those are of like we're trying to identify the targets of true love. So like we know the people that will fall in love for sure.
We don't know which ones they are.
We don't know until we get to town and find it out, right?
Oh, so we don't even know that we're looking for a single parent and carpenter baker.
Right.
Okay. So, so one of the steps is identify true loves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And I like that because then that kind of combines the two into one.
Okay.
And then we are, and this can be some of the world building of what your core looks like. Like, do you have an old winter wizard that scries through like an ice crystal ball to see the things that are happening, and that's how your missions are assigned? Or do you get like a random ticker tape that prints off from a typewriter that's no longer plugged in that says like, this is what needs to happen? However we end up getting our intel, we know that we need to essentially do this.
Granch, I need to know, is your heart also 3 sizes too small?
No. This is...
Was that a congenital defect kind of a thing?
That was because he was so tiny.
Oh, right? Okay. Well, I was just wondering if like then you have like, you're like oversensitive to love being around you because your heart is too small, that it's like too much love for you or something. I don't know. I was just wondering. If that was if that was a Grinch specific thing, or if that applies to Grinch, Granch, and Grunch.
No, that's just a Grinch specific congenital defect that was solved through the spirit of Christmas.
I see. Yeah, hey, modern medicine. It's the spirit of Christmas.
Grunch actually. His liver is 2 sizes too big. Wild college years, but he doesn't have to pay for it.
Yeah, that's the Grunch. I mean, thankfully, all of those cookies that my brother had consumed had fixed his issues, and the Granch, he's just big and fluffy.
Are you just like the middle child, so you're like perfectly healthy? You got one with
mostly
a heart 3
healthy.
sizes too small, one with a liver 3 sizes too big.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
mine. I'm just the normal guy with all the fluff.
Yeah.
I think it's just like because of all my fluff, like I can sense the static electricity of true love's spark.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. The electricity in the air.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There's 100%
just some
chance
clarifying
that
question.
there's 100% chance that Granch will show up in a trench coat at some point, human-sized trench coat and hat, and just fluff poking out of every crevasse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No one will see through that disguise. Not once you put on sunglasses.
Yep.
At night. Okay, so we have to enter the town. We have to identify the true love, right? Okay.
Yeah, and we need to prevent the imposters.
Mm-hmm.
I think we would know that there is risk that people who are not the true love people will take this kiss instead. Yeah. So we have that understanding of that urgency. Mm-hmm. So we can go ahead and we know that we need to prevent that.
Okay. Where do we feel like that one falls? Is that just like identify true love / prevent? Is that all the same step?
I feel like we need to identify first. Yes. And then prevent, because we need to these are the ones that we're going for. Now we need to stop these people from doing it first. Mm-hmm. And then we can make sure that these people
feels like a very end sort of thing.
Well, right.
Yeah, it's a little later.
Because otherwise
like
there's
maybe
a
step 8.
Well, because there's, the chance that if we prevent the actual or the contestants or whatever, that they'll shut down the whole thing. And we can't have that. So that's a last minute stop those people. Make it look totally normal up until then. So I feel like that's like a step 8 kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got to prevent.
And then we could have step 9 be like a dismantle the show sort of thing, where stop the contestants, production. Stop production, make sure that it's not going to keep going, and then we seal it with a kiss.
Love it. I love it. Okay, so we got chaos. 1, 2, 8, 9, 10.
So we know that we're going to need to. So we as players know that building the stall and making sure that they can participate is going to be a factor. If we don't know specifically that, so we could say that make sure that the true loves can participate. So we need to identify them. We need to make sure that they can participate in the festival.
Right. Yeah.
And that will be discovered later to be building the stall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll need to build the stall, and we'll probably also have to babysit.
Yeah, I do like babysit happening after make sure they can participate.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So is that 3 and 4?
Yeah, I think so.
I imagine that in any given mission, babysit's just like a floater step that we're probably going to need to babysit somebody.
Uh-huh.
There's always kids involved.
Right.
Yeah. We're going to need to it's always a safe step. Santa Cor usually squeezes in a babysit somewhere.
Also, I feel like just for my personal preference, one of the steps does need to be a fashion montage of some sort.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
You're talking about For the Queen. There is the hack of that called For the Honor, which is strongly inspired by the She-Ra Princess of Power cartoon. And one of their prompts is it's similar to For the Queen. It's actually more like The King is Dead. Which is it's kind of it's got the individual mini games, but there's one of those leading questions that you can ask, which is what is your theme song? Yeah. And I always love asking that question, what song is playing? If this were a show, what song is playing right now? And I think that's a side note. Another thing that a different game has done really well that I love. Yeah. So fashion montage. Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Yes, I think is that maybe step 6 or something. We've got 5, 6, and 7 left. Fashion montage for step 6. We have to show the true loves that each other is not so bad. Right. We have to. Okay. Yeah. We have to. We have to make them. We have to make them fall in love. Yeah.
We have to make them fall in love.
Right.
I mean, we have to.
So maybe
encourage that they both consent.
Yeah. Maybe
to
a fashion montage. Then.
Hey, phantom montage. Yeah,
phantom
that's
montage.
Cool too.
I do love that too. So we need a phantom. Oh my God, I can't stop. We need a fashion montage and a first date.
Yes.
Okay. So I think the fashion montage goes before the first date, right?
Yes. Right. I think first date in quotes,
yeah.
It's an outing or whatever for these two to actually get to know each other.
Right.
To say,
because
I don't actually hate you.
Yeah. Because I imagine we don't know the specifics, but we know that there's an obstacle.
Yeah.
We know that there's some specific reason
Yeah.
why these two people are not together.
Mhm.
And so going into it, we're like, there's going to be a little bit of work that needs to be done here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And finally, what's between babysitting and a fashion montage?
Is there anything about the town we need to address? Is there anything about like a larger scale about how the festival is being carried out, or how we are preparing our, like, we could even have like a, set up our little like base or something like that. We could have a
what if that next step is hijacking the local television station to broadcast our honey kiss live.
Okay. Does our honey kiss need to be, because it's sharing that love?
Yeah,
well,
outwardly.
because we want to project to the world the like real magic of love, not
projecting
the fake
true love, real
Right.
magic honey kiss instead of like production
Right.
fake
We
honey
want people
kiss.
to see like what does it look like when it's real, and it would be like
And
around the
that
world,
fanfic-
like reignite people's
Mhm.
understanding.
I do kind of hope that, like, I say this like it's
Mhm.
wouldn't be 100% in our control. I do kind of hope that some of the contestants, like outside of the context of the show, it's like the one thing that I really do love that. So even though The Bachelor and those types of shows are infamous for the relationships never really working, there was one story where like two of the contestants of The Bachelor one year, like they got married to each
I
other.
love that.
Mhm.
And they were like happily together. And it's because
Yeah.
like, I kind of like that. So like maybe like two of these contestants, there's so much pressure by the production, by everything. Like they have to be the ones that get the honey kiss. But like removed from that, they're like, hey, I actually do kind of like you. I've really enjoyed spending this time with you. And having that space.
Mhm.
I like that.
But that's like an epilogue.
Yeah. Okay, so that's before babysit? Is that we have to do
Right after babysitting.
right after babysitting? We have to.
I like the thought of planning the like reverse heist that we need to do for
While
the
trying
TV
to
station
babysit?
hijack while trying to babysit.
Right. Yeah, we're babysitting. We know that this thing that happens at the end, we're going to have to be really prepared for. So we have to get our hooks into the station now.
Yeah.
And then because if we can't make sure that that's going to be broadcast, if we can't make sure that we have the foundation there,
Mhm.
then what are we even doing trying to get these people to fall in love?
Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
So yeah.
So
that
our
makes sense.
steps as I have them written down. Number 1, enter town. Number
Yep.
2, identify our true loves. Number 3, make sure that they can participate in this honey festival. 4, babysit. 5, hijack the local television station. Number 6, fashion montage. Number 7, their quote unquote first date. Number 8, prevent the fake love people from being the ones that get the honey kiss. Number 9, stop the production of the fake love. And number 10, honey kiss. And number 11, dismantle capitalism through the power of love.
I love it. I would watch this show.
I
in
would
a
watch
heartbeat.
this movie. Like,
This is the Honey Kiss too.
Yeah.
We just made a sequel.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's been a year since the Honey Kiss came out. We got to make Honey Kiss 2 the sequel. I'm going to start working on my playlist shortly.
Amazing.
All right.
All right. So we need difficulties for all these, don't we?
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited
Yes.
for this. I have some D10s
So it's
here if we want.
I got D10s
Yeah, 2
as well.
D10 for each. You
Do
just
we
add
want to
them
just
together.
alternate through them?
Sure. You want to do, why don't you start with number 1? How difficult
All right.
is it to enter this town?
All right. How difficult? 11.
Okay.
Not too bad.
Okay. Identifying the true loves. Hope that static electricity works.
I know, right?
19.
Oh, no.
They're really tough to find. Well, because they hate each other right now.
Could be
So,
anyone.
like,
Could
it's
be
impossible
anyone.
to tell.
Anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Make sure they can participate.
Uh-huh.
How difficult?
0 is 10, right? So we've got 15.
Okay.
It's going to be a hard booth to build.
Mhm.
I know. Let's see, how much of a terror do we have to
We're just adding them together, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Sorry. My brain was like, what? Hold on. Sorry. 14. Brain is
14. This is a challenging scenario so far. 11 for hijacking the local TV station.
Okay.
Come on, double ones for the fashion montage.
And I don't have my spreadsheets in front of me, but this is one of those things where, like, as a 2d10, the average is going to be 11.
Mhm.
And if the average for the cards that we have, it should all be accomplishable. But one of the things that makes it kind of like extra different, I guess, challenging is that it's not all cumulative,
Right.
where like if we were just adding all of these pools together and then we add up the cards to match it. But like if your cards add up to 17, but your challenge was only 13, that's 4 extra points that have kind of gone by the wayside. And I saw that you wanted to talk about disaster mode later on, and we can definitely do that. And that's where that comes in.
Nice. So the difficulty for our fashion montage is a 10.
Okay. A little bit of a reprieve there.
Sometimes it's hard to find stuff that fits,
Yeah. First date, we get a 9.
Okay. Let's see, preventing the fakes. 12.
12. Okay. All right. Dismantling the show.
Okay.
14.
Okay.
We need a good low one here.
Yeah. Ooh. 16.
16. Oof. This is going to be a challenging.
Which one was that for?
Getting them to honey kiss.
Yeah.
Getting them into position.
Okay. I like how the first day, like, yeah, all right, we can kind of get these people on board with each other, and like we have to magic kiss in front of everybody.
Yeah, no, not gonna happen. No.
Yeah. So we gotta trick them into getting there somehow, because we know that they have the feels for each other. But
it was really hard to find that out.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. And at this point we would start playing, basically, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, and then we divvy up our cards.
Right.
So you take the deck of 52 playing cards, 52 at this point because you've pulled out the jokers. And then you have 24 cards split between us, because 24 is really nicely divisible by 1, 2, 3, 4, or 6. If there's 5, you go with 25 cards because everything's even. And then those become our hands, and that is our hand of cards to use throughout the entire 10 steps.
Wow.
So that, like, if you have a really good card like early on, like if you just blow through all these steps, it's like, yeah, I'm going to drop all my high cards on this. And then you're at the end, you're like,
oh no,
I guess this is going to take us.
Yeah.
And there's no, like, you can, each card that you play kind of represents a very specific use of powers. It's implied that you're doing things like in between and you're using other powers and that sort of thing. But like the actual use of power that really makes the pivotal change is the card that you play. That's where the kind of planning is. So it's random what deck you have. Statistically, you are probably capable of completing all of the milestones. Where another layer of variability comes in is those numbers also have different little narrative hooks that come with them. So for example, when you play, the face cards automatically pass a milestone, but at a cost. And it's kind of crazy. So like a jack is the character is grievously wounded physically or emotionally. Can they go on? And you can always say like, yes, I can, but like,
but there's the implication that it was questionable.
Yeah. So if that's something where like Grunch needs to stop the, you're Granch.
It rhymes with ranch, which like we're in Wisconsin.
I get that all the time. Grunch is
sense.
the more famous one. Even though he was called Cookie Monster for a while.
Granch of the Hidden Valley.
Yeah.
We can look at it.
Hidden Valley Granch.
So, that could be something where like, if you need to.
Just the Jolly Green Giant.
If you need to dismantle, he's a second cousin.
I know.
If you need to stop the production of something, could be like, I'm just going to walk bodily into all of these cameras and their trucks and just take it all down. It's going to shock the heck out of me. Maybe it like burns a lot of my fur.
Oh no.
I'm going to go on, but my beautiful fluff is
the smell of burnt hair follows you everywhere now.
Yeah. And so like there are those things where like the middle level cards, like I think it's like 5 and 6 is banter. Like you have the option to like flirt or bicker or something like that. So like that's us kind of building a rapport between us. So we're like, oh yeah, like Ice Queen or something like that. And you're like, Ice Witch Queen, actually, thank you, please. So like there's those options. Some of them is kind of narrative, like 3. If you play a 3 or a 4, that was close. Describe something the character lost or endangered. So there are little costs along the way. So even though you accomplish it, those costs are kind of built in. And that's another way that you have the option of like, yeah, I could just play a single card now, match this milestone, and we're done. But like I don't want to deal with that cost for this mission. So let's use a couple of our smaller cards. We can use a couple of different powers. These are a little bit more manageable. And kind of adds up. But yeah, from here we have our list. So our characters have we've had this discussion and it's out of character, but we can assume that our characters have had a very similar discussion in character. If we wanted to recreate some of that with like character voices and kind of like have that briefing room discussion, we could. But then, yeah, we figure out, do we jump into a snow globe or, use a DIY sleigh that can fly on jet engines because the reindeer refused to be shackled by sleigh bells once more.
Actually, as an Ice Witch Queen, I have my own sleigh, so we can just use mine. It has Bluetooth, so we can just plug in your phone. And
When I was a Duke, I also had vehicles. My kid actually got a little RC car for me to ride around in for a little bit. That was different.
I just walk everywhere or float on a breeze.
Really? You can float on a breeze?
Strong enough breeze.
Sorry, that was rude. Yeah, all right.
Gotta put my arms out though, like, oh.
Okay, well, mine also has a hot cocoa dispenser, so
Ooh.
I think we should take mine.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay.
I also like setting that up too because the frosts have the ability to have wind, so we know that
if you can float on a breeze, that's great.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And so I hope there's an opportunity for Ice Witch Queen to absolutely launch the Granch with a icy breeze.
Amazing.
Oh my gosh. I love this.
Oh,
this is so good.
This is so good.
It's great.
Yeah.
Chef kiss. Perfection.
Yeah. And so that's some like if I could just let the yes, this was fun and I like this. Anyway, I'm going to pick at it. So from the game design standpoint, I think that because the three of us have a lot of experience telling these types of stories, like telling stories and going for those narrative, like what are these hooks? It took us a little bit, but we were able to create those 10 steps pretty well. But that's kind of where I was coming from. If we were newer or we didn't have so much framework or experience with designing, what does a session look like? What sort of challenges would role players encounter in a session like that? I feel like the 10 could be daunting.
I know sometimes when things are like too open, especially when you're new to tabletop games too, like when there isn't enough scaffolding really to like know what you are or aren't supposed to do, or like, it can get really overwhelming to just be like, oh, okay, anything, or like where do I even start? Yeah, which is definitely something that like we'll get to in our discussion part too, because that's one of the things we ask is like, is there something that you would change or, fix or adjust or nitpick at or and you're like all of the above. I love these. What a good story.
Very good.
What a good story.
I'm glad that we were able to build on the previous one too.
I love that. It worked out
because,
that way with the cards.
It feels like a sequel, but also since like an entire war on Christmas has happened between now and then, it's like setting the sequel like 100 years in the future.
Right. Yeah. Like none of the same people are involved or anything.
No.
And
There's like you can have a character that has like the same last name.
Right. Yeah. There's probably the original time traveler guy maybe having a cameo.
Well, I
could see that.
Or I don't remember like the full story of what was happening, but like maybe this is what you were trying to prevent. And so this is actually a prequel.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Because like, what if we fail?
Yeah. And then the only solution is to send a time traveler back to the past.
Yeah.
To
so that we
really
never get
fix
to this
the
point.
true.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a prequel to sequel.
It's a sequel prequel.
Yeah.
But since time travel is so goofy, it's everything happens like they both happen.
Right.
It is both prevented and not prevented, and that is
exists and does not. And it's Schrodinger's
Hallmark.
Schrodinger's capitalism.
Yep.
Gross.
Oh God. Okay. On that note. Sorry. Okay. Taylor, thank you so much for joining us for our character creation portion of our series for Santa Core. Do you want to remind people where they can find you, what kind of games you have out, all of that kind of stuff?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So, again, I am Taylor Curreysmith is how I publish as Whimsy Machine Media. And you can find this game specifically on my itch.io, which is, it's whimsy-machine.itch.io.
We'll put right? Don't worry, there we links. We always put links to everything in the show notes because I can't remember that.
Otherwise, I'm Whimsy Machine pretty much everywhere. I'm not super active on socials just because I bet a lot of my horses on Twitter,
as we did. Many of us.
Yeah. So I'm kind of in the social media diaspora. You can find me on Co-host, Mastodon, Blue Sky. I exist there, but I don't really post anyway. I do have games on TTRPG, and a handful of my games, such as Spell the RPG or Fight Item Run, which is a nostalgia-driven, like classic video game inspired, powered by the apocalypse kind of. Book, beautifully illustrated in a hardbound collection. They can actually be found in your local game store. If they're not, you can ask your local game store to order them through Indie Press Revolution, where a good handful of my books are in distro. Those are the big fancy ones that have spines, and I worked really hard on. I have a ton of games like this, which I enjoyed making.
What didn't work as hard on?
I enjoyed making, but those are on itch.io. I love doing game jams and that sort of thing. So there's something like I think 30 plus games, or at least 20 plus games of various levels of seriousness and satire, that sort of thing, and they exist on the internet.
Very cool. Well, thank you again. And thank you to everybody for listening. Please join us on the next episode for our discussion block. Call to action.
Yeah, like that. Okay, so I spoiled it a little bit last time, but this time we actually got to make characters and do our scenario. And
we did.
I love it so much.
It was so much fun.
It was. I had a blast with this one.
I didn't think I was going to make the Grinch until I started thinking, can you make the Grinch in this game? And then I ended up making Grinch anyway and expanding the Grinch lore. So you're welcome, everybody.
Yeah. This is the new Christmas material everybody's been looking for, like we've done.
Exactly.
There's so much overdone stuff for Christmas. You can only see so many versions of Rudolph and, like, oh, it's Santa Claus, but there's something that's stopping him from getting everyone presents. Oh, no. The couple falls in love. Right. One is from a big city. One is on a small town farm. What will happen next? But what you actually needed was a big blue Grinch. So Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
You're
I'm
welcome.
going to have to get a hold of HBO because they have the rights to Cookie Monster. And we'll just have to expand that Grinch lore and see if we can get Cookie Monster reunited with Grinch and Granch.
Yeah.
And because, Cookie Monster is Grunch because Grunch rhymes with crunch.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I always forget which one you like. I want you to be Granch, like ranch,
Yeah, I'm Granch.
Oh, you are.
Cookie Monster is Grunch.
I thought you were Cookie
and the
Monster.
Grinch is Grinch. Oh, no. Cookie Monster is just my brother.
Oh, are you sure? I feel like I remember it the other way around.
I'm the big 20-foot tall, fluffy teal one.
Yeah, that's fair, I guess.
Yeah.
Your brother's also a lawyer, so.
Yes, Cookie Monster became a lawyer.
Gotcha. I got it.
After his stint on Sesame Street eating cookies.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got it now. I got it straight. I know the lore.
See,
right.
We're there.
Right.
We're there.
Yeah. I'm a new recent fan, so
I know.
Haven't read the whole backlog yet.
No,
Right.
It's fine.
But now it's how the Grinch saved Christmas. So
yeah, we got to explore Lake Goldpond again. We got to create a prequel sequel.
Yeah.
To a couple years ago, our holiday nonsense back then. And it is such a delightful game.
It's what the world
that we were
needed.
able to cover. Yeah.
Honestly, it was the story we told. And yes, it's an amazing game. So it's in a bundle on itch right now too, which I think goes for a little while. So maybe we can put a link to that in the show notes too.
Yep.
If people would
we'll put a link to that
buy
in the show notes because it comes with like a bunch of other games in the bundle and it's not that expensive. And why not?
Yeah. More games.
Yeah. More games.
Game's good.
Why not?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But before we let you go for the day, we do have some additional calls to action.
We are close to the end of the year, and one of the best things that you could get your favorite podcasters is leaving a review for their podcast or, joining their Patreon. Either way, you'll get a personal thanks in both cases, as well as shout outs on the show. If you become a patron of the show, you'll also get access to all sorts of gifts like dice and stickers and bonus episodes and chit chats and all kinds of stuff. If we do hit the $200 mark, then we can start offering discounted plans for yearly memberships, which is really nice. Every little bit helps, so even $1 a month could go a long way if enough of our listeners join in. Regardless of the level of support, we do thank you personally on every episode like we are going to do now, starting with Lieutenant and DJG, aka Tyrannosaurus. Thanks.
Eric Bonds and Daryl Holiday II, thank you so much.
Shadim Cabal and the Shyest Barbarian, thanks for your continued support.
Benjamin Sweeney and Lorcan McGinnis, thanks for making all this possible.
Rob Fletcher and Kevin Brown, you shouldn't have, but thank you anyway.
Thank you as well to Tentacle Duck and Cole McCallum. Your support brings us so much joy.
John Adamus and Kermit as two high-value CEOs returning to their hometown for no discernible reason on the eve of an event this holiday season. Thanks.
Thank you, Carlos Salazar and Eric S. We couldn't do this without you.
Many thanks to Ross Kingston and Ian Popmeyer.
Sorry Goth and Liam G. We're happy to have you here with us. Thank you.
Brian Colm and Garden GM, thank you for your continued support.
Thank you to Dark Mirror and Tom. We couldn't do this without you as well.
Blue Kryptonite and Danny, we can't thank you enough. You're fantastic.
Nicole Trainer and Liam Murray, thanks. And to Nicole, thank you for the cookies. They were delicious.
Ooh, cookies.
Yeah.
Delicious. Kenning and Brian Kurtz, many thanks to both of you.
And thank you to all of our future supporters. Your support not only means the world to us, but it's also allowing us to keep doing this show as it pays for things like our recording subscription, Dropbox, editing software, and so much more. If you want to join this growing community, please drop by patreon.com/charactercreationcast and at least give us a follow. We have a free trial for the $5 level if you want to check that out as well for some of the bonus content. But no matter how you join us, we would love to have you here with us.
That's all for today's episode. Next week, we get into some phenomenal discussion with Taylor about this game and our characters. It was fantastic. It was so much
It
fun.
was so much fun.
Until then, take care, everyone. Stay safe out there. Drink some water. Enjoy a seasonally appropriate beverage, preferably with marshmallows. Capture the magic of the season in a reality TV show and keep making those amazing people. We'll see you next time.
Character Creation Cast is a production of the One Shot Podcast Network and can be found online at www.charactercreationcast.com. Head to the website to get more information on our hosts, this show, and even our press kit. Character Creation Cast can also be found on Twitter and Blue Sky at CreationCast, or on our Discord server at discord.charactercreationcast.com. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Bolter, and I can be found on Twitter and Blue Sky at Lord Neptune or online at lordneptune.com. Our other host, Amelia Antrim, can be found on Twitter and Blue Sky at Ginger Reckoning. Music for this episode is used with a Creative Commons license or with permission from the podcast they originated from. Further information can be found within the show notes. Our main theme music is Hero Remix by Steve Combs and is used with a Creative Commons license. This podcast is owned by us under Creative Commons. This episode was edited by Ryan Bolter. Further information for the game systems used and today's guests can also be found in the show notes. If you'd like to support our show, find us on Patreon. Get access to bonus episodes, exclusive merch, and much more at patreon.com/charactercreationcast. Thanks for joining us. And remember, we find that the best part of any role-playing game is character creation. So go out there and create some amazing people. We'll see you next time.